Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at two temperature sensors from Apollo. Now the majority of Apollo sensors have temperature sensors built onto the main board, but only the PLT-1 soil temperature sensor has a probe. Now the TEMP-1 USB-C powered and the TEMP-1B USB and battery powered, you get the temperature probe that you can be used in the house, such as the fridge or the freezer. And if used with the optional steel heat-proof probe, you can use it in the oven or on the barbecue. So your time is valuable, let's dive on in. Temperature sensors are plentiful in the smart home IoT device arena, but those that have probes, especially flat cable probes and heat-resistant probes, are not as common. Now we recently reviewed a Sonoff BMT01, reviewing the pop-up above, which is one such device. It was specially designed with quad temperature probe capability, of which two probes are provided, and was specially designed for your barbecue or cooker. The device did a great job, but was only Bluetooth and didn't pass this information back to Home Assistant, just to the iWi Link application. Apollo has gone one or two better, making two such devices, a USB-C and a battery-powered device, of which the battery-powered device can last for 6 months if used with optimal sleep settings. Each of these can work with multiple temperature probes, which are both sold separately. There is a small probe which is 20 centimeters or 8 inches long, and a 1.5 meter cable probe, both of which have flat cables. Then there is a heat-proof, food-safe stainless steel probe with a 1 meter long heat-proof armored cable, which unfortunately is not dishwasher proof. So you have many heat probe options to fit your needs. The battery powered unit is 47mm wide, 30mm deep and 30mm tall, while the USB-C version is 47mm wide, 30mm deep and only 30mm tall. Inside the unit, the circuit boards look virtually identical, apart from some power handling circuitry. There is a multicolored LED, which can be used to alert the user. Either side of the circuit board are buttons for reset and boot mode. Next to the LED is an AHT20F temperature and humidity sensor, and with a buzzer located in the opposite corner. Physically, connectivity is provided by a USB-C that provides power to the non-battery version, but can also power the battery variant if needed. And presumably you can use this for firmware updates on both versions. Just remember that the USB-C cannot be used to charge the rechargeable battery, of which you'll need to provide this yourself. Links to suggested batteries and a recharger in the description. Next to the ESP32 is a 3.5mm jack plug that can be used with all variants of probes. Apart from the different probes used, there is only one other accessory that can be purchased, and I'd highly recommend this one, especially if you're going to be mounting this on your fridge, and that's the magnetic mount. Combine this with the short temperature probe with the flat cable makes this the perfect alarm, which alerts you to power cuts and safeguards your food. More on that later. Now Apollo understands that to build an effective smart home, you should purchase devices to meet a specific user case. As such, they give you some suggested user cases that you might like to use this device for. The most obvious user case for such a device is food safety. Place on your freezer with the magnetic mount, run the flat cable inside your freezer and set up an alarm. If the temperature goes outside of the user-definable range, an audible alarm will be triggered. And if you're using the battery version, this will be independent of the power. Never have a spoiled meat again. Likewise, use the heat-proof sensor and run this into your cooker and into your prized turkey. Never ruin a Thanksgiving lunch ever again. Now that has to be the best user case ever. A third and compelling user case would be for you fish lovers. As the probes are completely waterproof, you could use the USB and battery-powered TEMP-1B sensor on the back of your fish tank with the probe in the water. Some tropical fish can run into the hundreds of dollars, and they can be super sensitive to temperature change. Now yes, there are many purpose-built fish tank temperature alarms, but how many of these have built-in alarms, LEDs, and report back to Home Assistant? I don't have a fish tank, but I can definitely see how monitoring this valuable asset would be a great idea. That's peace of mind thanks to the built-in independent buzzer alarm LEDs, plus it links back to Home Assistant for even more alarms. Now that's a lot of security and peace of mind at a budget price. Links in the description. The TEMP-1 and TEMP-1B are both ESP devices, so they are super simple to set up. Using the ESP32 C3 chip, they have both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in, and they leverage this to great effect to set up the device. Now I'll be installing the TEMP-1B on my mobile, but the same is true of the TEMP-1, and you could do the same steps on your desktop. Supply power to your device. In my case, I'll be plugging in a USB-C cable. Open your companion app on your mobile. A notification will show up. Press Open Notifications. Select Check It Out. The Apollo TEMP-1 will show up as a connecting through Improv via Bluetooth. Improv is the new, simpler way of configuring devices by connecting them through Bluetooth first. Press Add. Enter your Wi-Fi credentials. These will be passed to the device and it will be configured to connect to Wi-Fi. Press Continue. Once connected, Home Assistant will discover the Apollo 1 as an ESP device with the correct name. It will ask you if you wish to add it. Press Add. Home Assistant will ask you to confirm to add as an ESP home device. Press OK. Now select the TEMP-1B. Press Submit. Optionally, give it an area and press Finish. As I have an Alexa integration loaded, Alexa will also discover the device. The TEMP-1B will now show up in ESP Home. Let's have a look at the device and what entities are brought back. Navigate to Settings, Devices and Services, ESP Home, and select your Apollo TEMP-1 or TEMP-1B. In Controls, you can set the alarm outside of temperature range. This is important as this alarm resides on the device itself and is independent of the connection back to Home Assistant. So even if Home Assistant is not available, such as a power cut, the alarm will still function on the battery-powered device. When active, the alarm sounds when the thresholds are met for the sensor. Then you have an RGB LED that you can set directly or through automations. Great for signifying the temperature of the probe. You can set the type of probe that's attached to the device as either temperature or food, which is the heat-proof stainless steel probe. In sensors, you have the battery level and voltage, which is represented as a percentage. Just remember that when you connect this device, it will take some time for these values to come through. Then you get the temperature and humidity reading from the board itself, from the AHT20F temperature and humidity sensor. Just remember that this chip is not far away from the ESP32, so you will need to apply an offset in the configuration section. Then you have two entities for probe temperature. One will be for the probe if it's the temperature probe and the other for the food probe. One of these will be unknown based on what is selected in the controls. In configuration, you have the offsets for the board temperature and humidity and the food and temperature probe. One thing to note is that all offsets and ranges are set in Celsius. Plus you can set the thresholds for the probe's minimum and maximum that are used in conjunction with the alarm function. There is a prevent sleep configuration that prevents the TEMP-1 from going to sleep. When sleeping, the TEMP-1 will not respond to Home Assistant. It's effectively off until it wakes up again. This is used in conjunction with the sleep duration, which is the number of hours the device should remain in sleep mode before waking up, and defaults to 12 hours. This is used to maximize the battery life. All of these field definitions are available from the Apollo docs. Links in the description. Now I don't have a super accurate testing facility, but we'll be putting up the Apollo TEMP-1B with the short temperature probe up against the SwitchBot outdoor temperature sensor and an inside SN-ZB02P Sonoff temperature and humidity sensor. I won't be measuring the temperature that's reported from the TEMP-1B's board sensors as that's not accurate enough. Instead, I'll be using the probe sensor temperature. I've also activated the prevent sleep mode so that the readings are timely. I've also allowed all the sensors to sit on my desk for a few hours to acclimatize and normalize their readings. The readings are the SwitchBot at 29.5 degrees, the Apollo TEMP-1B at 29.6 degrees, and the Sonoff SN-ZB02P coming in at 29.8 degrees Celsius. All the sensors are within 0.3 degrees of each other, which is an excellent result. All three of the sensors updated every 5 minutes, although the Apollo was on prevent sleep mode, and the frequency would not have been as quick if turned off. But this is a Wi-Fi device and not a Zigbee or Bluetooth device like the other two sensors. Of these results, I would have expected the Apollo, which is an off-device temperature probe, to be the most accurate. There is a lot to like about the Apollo TEMP-1 and TEMP-1B, with its accurate probes that come in different lengths and configurations for just temperature or food temperatures, hence making it useful in the kitchen, for the fridge, or the oven, or even the barbecue, although I'd still stick to the Sonoff BMT-01 for that unique purpose. The onboard processing through the ESP32 that allows for on-device alarms, either visually through the LEDs or through the onboard buzzer, I believe will be a significant advantage. Using the TEMP-1B on the mains and using the battery as a backup with an aquarium is going to save a lot of tropical fish. The unit is cost effective at $25 American, with its probes varying from $5 to $6 depending upon type. Links in the description. On the negative side, people don't seem to like the 3D printed cases, although personally I think these are good quality, tight fitting and built to last. Using the ESP32 for a battery-powered device can lead to short battery life and reduced reporting frequencies. But when you consider the battery version can run on USB and that you can use the battery as a fallback situation, this is actually a great advantage. So when I buy it, yes. However, make sure that you have selected the specific user case that matches its strengths. But then again, this advice should apply to all sensor selection. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, then hit that like button, comment and share. And if you'd like to have early access to similar material, then subscribe or maybe become a channel member and get early access to material plus other perks. And if I've helped you make a purchasing decision for the right sensor, then maybe a super thanks or a PayPal donation. It's really appreciated. Until the next one.